Welcome into week number 7 of the Butcher versus the Spin Instructor, presented by LB's Meat Market. I'm Neil McCready. We've got the Butcher with us today, Greg Jones of LB's Meat Market, and we've got the Spin Instructor, Campbell McCready of Zen Fayetteville. Hello to all of you. Happy Friday.
Hello, happy Friday.
Friday, it is a Friday.
We normally tape on Thursday. We had to move to Friday. Campbell had she had to redo her schedule. Last night was Kaio initiation, so her sorority little sister got initiated, so I had to move some things around. But here we are, all good in time for the weekend. And Greg, I tried the spiny lobster last week, as you know. So to set the stage a little bit, we had Ole Miss played – who did Ole Miss play? Ole Miss played Auburn at 11 o'clock. And so the plan was to start the Rebel Grove YouTube stream at around 6:45 because we had a lot of pregame stuff to build up, including this show. And when I woke up to get in here, got up at 6:15, got in here, got all set. The keyboard wasn't working. It was a total panic. The morning the morning went to hell fairly quickly. There you are. The morning went to hell fairly quickly. We resolved it, but regardless, I was a little rattled, if I'm honest. And by the time we finished with the game, of course, was one that was kind of marred by officiating. And so the post-game show was kind of anxious, tense. And so by the time it all ended, I think we signed off at about 9:15. No, earlier than that. I don't know, whatever. I was hungry, I was tired, and more than anything, I was a little frazzled. And so we had sous vide a flank steak, and then we had some scallops from LB's, and we had a spiny lobster from LB's, and we had a Japanese A5 Wagyu. I guess it's a filet?
No, that's actually a chuck steak.
Chuck? Wow, unbelievable. From LB's that Greg was like, you've got to try this. And so I had the grill lit, but I was in a little bit of a hurry. I searched for the way to clean the lobster. You had told me, hey, look for this because you can get some of the head meat out, and you were exactly right. I did that. But I decided I found this recipe that looked good. It was put it in the oven like in a Pyrex. So I put it out of the shell, put the meat on top of the shell. It looked really pretty. Had some garlic, some lemon, salt and pepper, and I baked it. It was very good. I'm going to do it again though, and I'm not going to bake it. I'm going to do it on the grill, and I think it's going to make a big difference.
Big difference, yeah.
And I did use some butter, but the way that the butter was done, it kind of got more down in the pan, and it didn't get – it was still very mild, very delicious. It wasn't as hard to clean as I thought it would be. It was actually kind of fun, if I'm honest. Like, it was really fun, but I'm going to do it on the grill next time, and I think it will be at least twice as good, if not better. Yeah,
it'll get that smoky taste, from the grill. Kind of maybe get a little charcoal taste, from the grill. But, you did it in the oven just for that consistent temperature that you could, cook it all the way through, because sometimes the grill doesn't have that consistent temperature. But, yeah, it's almost like it's almost like a treat, like it's really – and plus that's what's cool. You got to take it home, break it down yourself, and get more hands on it, and that's just something that we promote. You can go home and prep your own meal for your dinner.
Meanwhile, the scallops. Let me just pat my back right here, because I put the cast iron in the oven, let it get hot.
Yeah.
Took it out, put the scallops in. I didn't do much. A little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper. Seared them, put them back in the oven for a couple minutes just to finish. Phenomenal.
Yeah, those scallops are real strong. And they're real easy to cook, too, like you said. I mean, you're not going to spend, 15, 20 minutes cooking a scallop. You just kind of want to put some butter in there, sear it on each side for a couple minutes, and just put it back in the oven and let it finish it off. You can almost eat a scallop medium rare, a little bit. Yeah, I like mine right around medium, maybe a little less than that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to overcook it where it gets rubbery.
He's made me
Yeah.
this before, and I cannot wait to actually come home and have them again.
Yeah, Campbell loves the scallops. Campbell's is,
Yeah,
all three of our kids are seafood people. Maybe because they all were born in Mobile and down there where they were little, fish was a big thing. But they all love them, shrimp, all that stuff. I'm making jambalaya for Carson this weekend because he's been talking about it for weeks. Shrimp and sausage jambalaya. So, and you can get great shrimp every Thursday, pretty much at LB's. It's there throughout the weekend.
Seafood every Thursday. Yeah, my employees really like scallop day whenever I get scallops because that way some of them, like at least 6 or 7, don't find a vacuum seal bag to be sold up front and get cooked. So that's one of the perks up here at LB's. You get to test the product and make sure it's good, and it's really good.
So tell us a little bit, Greg, about what's going on at LB's this weekend, how people can get in touch with you before we get started on games.
Yeah, just always call the store. I mean, we're stocked up, ready to go. Got just looking at. I'm actually reporting live from LB's right now. I'm not so looking at the store, and man, we're stocked to the gills. We've got plenty of Swayze sausage, plenty of ribeye sausage. My mom looks like she's got all her mushrooms out ready to go. Plenty of jalapeno poppers. I just got done cutting some nice looking bone-in ribeyes. Yeah, we're ready to go.
What are you craving?
Definitely need to come and try that A5. I mean,
we didn't talk about the A5. So I put the A5 on the grill. We didn't talk about this. I put the A5 on the grill. I just seared it for, man, I don't know, a minute and a half on each side, and then took it off.
Yeah, it's almost like that Korean barbecue style, to where you just, put it over the little flame for a little bit. I mean, it's almost like sushi. You could just, cook it like you were saying, 1 minute on each side, 500 degrees, but let it rest, and oh man, it's unbelievable. It
was really phenomenal. When you said that was chuck, I was shocked. I mean, it was so good.
Yeah, and I've had a lot of customers like, hey, won't you get a strip loin or beef tenderloin? I'm like, look, man, a strip loin, I priced out a strip loin. It's $2,100 for a 13-pound loin. So I just can't drop over $2,000 for 13 pounds of meat, and hopefully, but the chuck is really nice. I mean, I trim all the fat out. It was a perfect square. My mom tried it. She goes, "That's a chuck?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am." I was like, "That's a A5 Japanese Wagyu chuck. That's not your standard chuck there." But yes, it's like you're saying, you can't eat too much of it because it's almost like an overdose of chocolate, But it's really to die for, and it's a really nice cut.
It's really I don't know how many ounces the piece you gave me. The three
I think it was like right at 10, maybe 10.
Yeah, I think so. The three of us sort of split it, and it was great. I mean, you're right. You wouldn't want to eat 10 ounces of it, I don't think. I mean, there might be some people out there that would, but
yeah, I mean, they wouldn't be too excited about the next couple of days because their systems got turned over for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Campbell, I know you've got a few weeks before you come home. What are you looking forward to from LB's?
Well, I love whenever I come home. I feel like every time I come home, my parents are always like, "What do you want for the first night for dinner when you come home?" And I always am like, "I want a filet or, something like that." And my dad always goes and gets it. And we have like a salad with it, and it's so good. So hopefully when I come home for Thanksgiving the first night, that's what we have.
You can do that. You can do that. I'm going to get a bone-in ribeye for myself this next time, but I will be happy to do fillets for all of you that want them. I've been craving a bone-in ribeye for couple of weeks now, so that's coming. All right, let's get into the games. I don't even think we should talk about what happened to either one of you last week. It was ugly.
I mean, I guess we were due for a bad week.
You both were due for a bad week, and you had one at the same time, which continues the competition. You were both 2-5, so neither one of you lost any ground or gained any ground. You just lost. You lost 3 games under 500, but you're both still ahead of the break-even number for the college football season. So you have that going for you. You had one bad week, so now it's time to try to bounce back. It careened off the rails for both of you. It started with the Ole Miss Auburn game, and frankly, you probably both should have gotten it right, but the officials had other ideas.
And I guess they wanted to get a bunch of coins to make sure that they're not on the wrong end of the coin shortage.
The Lane Kiffin Twitter thing on Monday night was it was fabulous. As someone who can go on a Twitter rant here and there, I have a real appreciation for someone who can pull it off as gracefully as he did. So that was well done.
Right when he said that he was going to pay his fine back in pennies.
Yeah.
And now all the restaurants on the square are getting people to donate pennies.
Yeah. So I asked him on Wednesday. We get Kiffin on Monday and Wednesday, and on Wednesday, some of the other writers were asking him about Vanderbilt's offense and stuff, and I was nodding off in here, and I finally just said, "Hey, Lane, I was kind of wondering how many pennies you've gotten there at the building in the last couple of days," and he lit up. You could tell he'd been waiting for that, and he talked about Twitter and someone because when he first put his first tweet out, his fine was $25,000, and he said, "Does anyone know where I could find 25,000 pennies?" And he said that his son Knox told him, "Dad, you need some math help because 25,000 pennies is not covered." So he corrected. And then he said that was intentional. He was trying to set it up. To which I'm a little cynical, but he pulled it off. He pulled it off quite well. So, Lane Kiffin he's really good at that kind of PR. His team lost a game that was certainly that call was a significant part of why and they lost it. It wasn't the only reason, but it was a big reason. And he was able to take that. He got fined because he was frustrated. He got fined because of something he tweeted, and he was able to turn that into a funny, positive, program-building kind of a thing. And that's where he's a marketing genius.
Oh, yeah. I mean, from the T-shirts, the penny with his face and in Lane We Trust, from the Lane Train T-shirts, just everything. He's just a real marketable guy. I mean, that's why I switched the filet special to the Lane Train, filet special, and it just, just works out for us real well because, people always look at it like, oh, Lane Train filet special. Oh, that's cute. It's got to take advantage of him. And I appreciate him coming to Oxford and, lifting the spirits around here.
All right. Before we get to the games, it is Halloween tomorrow. All these games on Halloween, the full moon, first time Halloween full moon in years. What do y'all have? Y'all have Halloween plans tomorrow night? You trick-or-treating, Greg Campbell?
I have a Halloween party to go to. So
what are you dressing up as?
I mean, y'all won't really understand, but it's a character from a Nickelodeon show that I used to watch.
What's the
Wait, what?
A character from a Nickelodeon show.
Nickelodeon, children's channel.
Oh, okay.
Victorious and iCarly. I'm sure you don't.
Oh, I remember iCarly.
Okay, it's a character from one of those shows.
Okay. What about you, Greg? You dressing up?
I'm not. I'm pretty sure there'll be a couple trick or treaters in Como walking around, but I'm probably going to. I don't know. I'm not big on the dressing up. I might. No, I'm good on that. I might wear my Detroit Tiger jersey and pretend like I'm Kirk Gibson and might do that.
Favorite Halloween?
Do the mustache.
Yeah. What's your favorite Halloween candy?
Oh man, well, I like the Starburst. I'm a big fan of the Starburst. I actually like the Starburst and Sweet Tart combo. It's really nice. It's a nice combo. The little mini Snickers, you can't go wrong. But I try to stay clear of the candy because if it's a big bowl, it ends up getting sorted through, and then all of a sudden I'm good on what I didn't get.
Campbell.
I'm not really a candy person, but I like chocolate. So
yeah, I'm a peanut butter cup guy, man.
I like Reese's. Reese's are really good.
If those things are sitting around, it's dangerous. That is like just.
Yeah, just take them all out of the bowl and then put them in the freezer for 10 or 15 minutes, and they're really, really good.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I get the cravings. All right, here we go. Georgia is at Kentucky. Georgia.
We've covered all the food groups here. We've covered.
We covered all the major food groups. We covered seafood. We covered all the major seafood, beef, and chocolate. We're good.
Chocolate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Throw in a jalapeno popper and it's a balanced meal. All right, Georgia at Kentucky. The Bulldogs giving 14.5 points to Kentucky. Greg, you're up. What do you think?
I like Kentucky here. That second half Georgia put on against Alabama probably was kind of a little bit on the disheartening side. Kentucky's playing some good ball. I know they kind of laid an egg at Missouri last week, but I'm still kind of high on Kentucky, and I think 2 touchdowns in an SEC game is a little too many points for a decent Kentucky team.
Campbell, what do you think?
I'm going to agree with him here. I know Kentucky's having a hard time scoring, but I'm still going to go with what I said last week with that we have a second, third cousin of some sort, so I'm going to pick Kentucky here.
So, so both of you are getting the points. So both of you taking Kentucky. You're both taking 14.5 points. All right, that's good enough. All right, let's move on to the interesting game, CBS game. LSU, a 2-point favorite at Auburn. This game at 2:30. You can watch it on CBS. I should have told you the Georgia game is at 11 a.m. Noon Eastern, but 11 a.m. our time. That game can be seen on SEC Network. So LSU at Auburn, Campbell, the purple and gold Tigers giving 2 points to the orange and blue Tigers.
I am going to go with LSU here. I know Arkansas and Ole Miss don't really like each other very much right now after we beat them, but both of us got kind of at our Auburn games got screwed over a little. So I'm hoping that Auburn loses for that reason. I think both people in Oxford and in Fayetteville are still mad at Auburn fans right now, so I'm going to pick LSU here.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the Bo Nix overrated train. I'm still going to stay on it, but this is basically a coin flip. But I have to agree with her. I like LSU. I think LSU will get back on track with their whatever third string or fourth string quarterback they're running.
Yeah, he's the backup. TJ Finley. He looked really good in his first start against South Carolina. I'm with you on Nix, by the way. He had a couple of throws against Ole Miss that ended up being successful, that when Lane Kiffin gets the kind of defensive backs that he wants to get in Oxford, those are picks. Those are not going for what – I mean, credit to Seth Williams for Auburn. The receiver's a hell of a player, and he made big-time plays, but those were not good throws. All right, Mississippi State goes to Alabama, the Tide ranked number 2 in the country. Just continuing to roll over everybody. They blew out Tennessee last weekend. Mississippi State had a weekend off. They spent that weekend having players quit and kicking them off and all sorts of things. It's mutiny on the pirate ship there in Starkville. Mississippi State, Greg, is I guess I got ahead of myself. We'll go back to Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. I screwed up the order here. Mississippi State is getting 32 points in Tuscaloosa.
Man, I mean, that's a lot of points. I mean, it just seems like Alabama is just too good. That's a lot of points. I'll see. Yeah, man, I'll take Alabama here. I just think it just stays in a bad situation. They've got a lot of transfer. A lot of people leaving. A lot of people. I just don't think it's a good situation over there in Starkville. So got to take the hot hand and the better team. So I'll take the Tide to roll.
Why are people leaving?
So here's the deal with Mike Leach. He's been the head coach at Texas Tech, head coach at Washington State, and now he's the head coach at Mississippi State. So he's always gone to kind of bottom rung programs in these Power 5 leagues. And he's a smart offensive mind. And when it goes well, he takes the credit. And when it doesn't go well, it's the player's fault. And in this case, he's beginning to blame players. And at Mississippi State, unlike Washington State, unlike Texas Tech, these are SEC players who are recruited to an SEC school, and they're having none of it. And so they've kind of fought back, and they don't like some of the stuff that he's doing, and it is creating organizational mutiny, and he wants to recruit his kind of guy. And good luck. I mean, there's 4 new coaches in the SEC, and 3 of them have momentum. Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss has momentum. Elijah Drinkwitz at Missouri has momentum. Sam Pittman at Arkansas has momentum. Mike Leach has mutiny, and it is what it is. I don't think it ends well. Maybe he reverses it and fixes it, but personally, I don't think it ends well there, and I think it ends quickly. I think it's it's an awful fit. I can make the argument that Kiffin's a perfect fit for Ole Miss. I can make an argument that Pittman is the perfect fit at Arkansas. I can make an argument that Drinkwitz is a hell of a fit at Missouri. People forget, had Keith Carter not hired Lane Kiffin, or had Lane Kiffin not come to Ole Miss, Keith Carter's next move was Elijah Drinkwitz. That was the guy he was really impressed with, and you can kind of see it. I mean, I think the guy's kind of weird, but he's doing really well at Missouri right now. And Mike Leach, on the other hand, they've imploded since week 1. And when kids start quitting on you in the middle of the season, that's usually a bad sign.
Yeah, I mean, just whenever you inherit a program, you just have to work with what's there, not just be like, okay, nobody here is going to work out for me. So, I mean, and you can't give them that idea of it's not going to work, and, I wasn't the right fit. And, so I just think that, Lane's doing a real good job with, Ole Miss. Same thing with Pittman. You accept what you get in the program and you build off of it, so, but yeah, Leach is definitely not doing that.
Yeah, it's understood when you come in, when the previous coach got fired, things aren't going well there. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been hired.
Yeah, for sure.
But when you come in and throw the kids that are there under the bus, all they did was accept scholarship offers. They're not criminals. When you come in and treat them that way, they're going to turn on you. You still recruit. You're trying to recruit better players behind those guys so that you can get your program going. But when you walk in, if the program were already super, the other guy would still be there. That's, if you inherit a failing business, it's not going to become a super successful business the next day. It's going to take some work.
Yeah, you got to work with what you got.
Yeah. All right, Campbell, we didn't get your pick here. Mississippi State getting 32 points at Alabama.
I'm going to agree with Greg again. Obviously, I think Alabama's going to win, and with what I just heard, Mississippi State is struggling with the players quitting. So I'm going with Alabama.
All right, you're both taking Alabama and laying the 32. It's a bunch of points. For the record, I agree with both of you. All right, that game is at 6 o'clock on ESPN. I skipped the Ole Miss game just because my list here, I didn't have much written down about it. Ole Miss heads to Vanderbilt on Saturday, 3 p.m. game there in Nashville. The game can be seen on the SEC network. Ole Miss is an 18-point favorite on the road. Campbell?
I know that Vanderbilt is horrible, and I said that I want Ole Miss to win last week, and they didn't. So obviously I think Ole Miss is going to win this week, and I kind of want them to actually, because the Lane Kiffin thing was funny to me, and all my friends were talking about how they saw it on Twitter with the pennies. And one of my friends, both of her parents went to Ole Miss, and she almost went there actually. So she always cheers for Ole Miss and wants to turn on the Ole Miss games. So I'm picking Ole Miss here.
All right, Campbell's got Ole Miss laying the 18 points. Greg?
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, I know that Corral kind of struggled a little bit, and then they put Plumlee in there to, I'm not a 2-quarterback system kind of guy, but, whatever works. And whenever you have to make a change, you have to make a change. I mean, Ole Miss got to call it a tough break. The clearly a blown call by the ref, and it is what it is. The SEC obviously is going to take care of the people that they want to win, and it's just, it is what it is on that. It's just a tough pill to swallow to come in the next Monday and, know that, you really didn't lose the game. You played the game right, and, you kind of just got screwed over on a bad call. So I think Ole Miss rebounds here. I mean, again, Vanderbilt's just a sad story, and it is what it is. But yeah, I can see Ole Miss putting up 42 easily on Vanderbilt and covering the 18.
I agree. All right, Arkansas, Campbell's Razorbacks. They head to Texas A&M. This game normally in Arlington. This year it's in College Station because of the whole COVID thing. Texas A&M is ranked 8th in the country, and the Aggies are giving the Razorbacks 10.5 points. Greg, you're up.
Man, I think this is going to be actually a really interesting game. I mean, it started out that Arkansas is going to struggle, and it's amazing what good coaches and you get your players to buy into what you're trying to do, regardless if they're not your players that you recruited to at your school. So I think Sam Pittman's done a real good job. It's hard for me not to take Arkansas here. I like Arkansas here. I'm going to take the 10.5.
Campbell?
Obviously, I'm going to pick Arkansas this year, but I'm upset that we can't go to the Dallas game. I went last year, and it was so much fun.
That was kind of one of your first really fun experiences last year. I mean,
it was like a month in, too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, not even, because I got here, I think in August 20th-ish, and not even, probably 3 weeks later, I was in Dallas. And I stayed at one of my friends' houses with a bunch of people, and it was so much fun. But everyone's still excited here to watch it as we're getting ready for Halloween. We're going to turn it on in the Kyle house we talked about. So I'm excited for that. I'm sorry. No, you're fine. And we're going to turn it on here and watch it. So I'm going to pick Arkansas here. Hopefully we pull through another win.
All right, you're both getting Arkansas on the 10.5. I took A&M and laid the points.
It can go either way. I mean,
Yeah.
It really can. It can be a tight ball game, in the fourth quarter, and A&M, pulls away with two tight. I think it's going to be a really good game, and it's going to be a good watchable game also.
I think so too. A&M has a tendency to turn the ball over a little bit, and Arkansas, as Ole Miss saw, Arkansas has capitalized on turnovers this year, maybe as well as anybody in the country. So, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm hoping the game next year is in Arlington. That would be great. That means all the kids get to go back, and it's time to let kids go back and be kids and have fun and all that stuff. They need to have fun. It's a fun time and play the game at Jerry World, and all the A&M fans come and the Arkansas fans come, and it's a fun game, and it needs to be played there. That's where it belongs. All right. Off soapbox. Missouri is at Florida. This is by the way, that Arkansas A&M game is at 6:30. You can watch it on SEC Network. Missouri and Florida also play at 6:30, and this game is on the SEC Network alternate channel. And Missouri is a 13-point underdog. The Gators giving 13 to Missouri there in Gainesville. Campbell, what do you think?
I know Missouri has played really well the past two games.
Yeah.
But Florida is coming off of the COVID issues that they had or whatever. But if Florida looks good, I know you're going to go on Twitter for the night. But
yeah, she knows me well. If Florida wins, I might point out on Twitter that, God, for a team that all the players died of Twitter, they look pretty good, I mean, all the players got COVID and they all died, and then they all came back. And
so I'm kind of hoping Florida wins. I'm going to pick Florida just for the reason that I like when you go on Twitter and you get all mad about the COVID problems. And I just think COVID is really, it's just really annoying, and I'm ready for it to go away. We got our spring break taken away actually last 2 days ago for COVID, which doesn't really make any sense anyways, because their logic, I'm just going to say this and I'll be done. The logic was that we can't get fall break. So they combined and made a longer break for Thanksgiving this year. But the logic for spring break is that we can't have a long week break, so they're going to split it up. So it doesn't make sense, because then we'd have to split up Thanksgiving break if it made sense to do shorter breaks.
So let me ask this. I'm curious. You're there. I've talked to some people at Ole Miss about this week too. you're there on a college campus. Arkansas is and very similar to Ole Miss, frankly, in terms of size and things of that nature. What's it like being on a college campus as a college student with some of the restrictions that you have and the people that are watching you, and you're doing your classes virtually and all of that stuff? What's that like?
It's really frustrating. I loved last year actually going to class. I had a 7:30 a.m. class my first semester. So I loved walking to class in the mornings. Even when it was cold, it wasn't bad. And I mean, it's cold right now, but I just wish I could wake up and go to my 9:40 class in person and go, walk to class and all that. But it's frustrating when you can't and you have to wear masks. Everyone, if I'm being honest, has had COVID at some point or another at this point. So it's just like getting a sinus infection, in my opinion. But a lot of people take it really seriously for some reason, but it's frustrating because I'm going to go to a Halloween party tomorrow with lots of people there, and no one's going to die. No one's going to, no one's going to get so sick that they have to go to the hospital, hopefully, unless it's from drinking. So, I mean, it's just frustrating when I come back to campus and I can't go to class, but I can go to a Halloween party, or I can go home and go walk around in stores with people, and go out to eat in restaurants and sit down without a mask, but I can't go sit in class with a mask. So it's just kind of frustrating. So I'm ready for it to be over. Hopefully next semester is a little different. But I know the spring break situation had everyone fired up here about that. We started a petition that has over 5,000 signatures on it now. So hopefully that does something.
That's good. Your generation's learning that you have to be vocal. You have to be, and not just, you have to express your opinions and express them in an intelligent, educated way. But you have to fight a little bit. And I don't mean fist fight and I don't mean violence, but sometimes you have to fight back a little bit. And I think we're seeing some of that happening everywhere. All right. So we didn't even get to Missouri and Florida. Who you got?
Well, I'm going to Florida for the reason because they have COVID.
That's right. You told me that. I apologize. Okay, you're taking Florida, laying the 13, Greg.
I like Missouri here. They've got some good momentum. The kids have invested into a system and not fought it, and it seems like it's a good situation. I wasn't real high on Missouri this year just because of the new coach, but proof's in the pudding, and Missouri's a good club, and can't downplay that. And I think 13's a pretty good number to get with a Florida team, all dying and then coming back to life, and so I mean that's a hard thing to do, to die and then come back and play an SEC type of football game in a week's time. So I'm gonna take the momentum of Missouri on this one. I mean, it's just hilarious that we would literally make a comment like that. I mean, it's just like anyway.
It's 2020. It's like someone showed me yesterday the path to 269 in the Electoral College. And I went, well, that's what's going to happen. I mean, at this point, you got to put your money on anything that's bizarre. Is that there you go? That's what's going to happen. All right, that was a lot of fun. So the only difference you guys have this week, Missouri and Florida, is going to determine who is in first place when we go into week 8 of the Butcher versus the Spin Instructor. So all eyes on the Tigers and the Gators down there in Gainesville. All right, Campbell, thanks a lot. Greg, real quick before we go, tell the people how they can get in touch with you to get all of the great eats there at LB's Meat Market.
Yeah, just always call the store, 662-259-2999. If there's a big order that you have a bunch of people coming in town and you need to make sure you have meat taken care of for that for y'all's dinner, just call the store. We'll set it over the side. Got plenty of lane trains. We've got plenty of jalapeno poppers. My mom just ransacked every Kroger from here to South Haven. So if you go to a Kroger or you go to a grocery store and there's not jalapenos in there, just blame my mom. It is what it is. But
don't blame her. Drive over to LB's and get stocked up.
And,
awesome.
She got all her stuffed mushrooms ready. So yeah, we're stocked up, ready to go. I've got more Swayze sausage to shake a stick at. So big fan of the Swayze sausage, beer, bacon, cheese, and jalapeno. been very popular lately. And Zach's going to be doing your chicken jalapeno here in about an hour or so. And we might make another different chicken sausage, but the chicken jalapeno and chicken spinach feta is pretty tough to beat. So we're not going to try to venture out the box. So we're just going to stick to the basics this year.
No, I love the chicken spinach feta. It would be my favorite if there was no chicken jalapeno, but the chicken jalapeno, that's my jam.
My sister actually takes the chicken jalapeno out of the casing and she cooks it and then puts it in her rotel.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
that's a good idea. That could happen. All right, we'll. Yeah, that's creative. All right, we'll let it stop there. So Ole Miss and Vanderbilt for all of you out there, 3:00 on Saturday. So you got plenty of time to get to LB's, get all your goodies, get everything ready to go, enjoy the game, and then light your grills and see who wins the Butcher versus the Spin Instructor when Missouri and Florida get going late Saturday. So until next week, that does it for this episode of the Butcher versus the Spin Instructor. Thanks to Greg Jones. Thanks to Campbell McCready. I'm Neil McCready. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you again next week.